Hi there. Welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are going to be using a pair of gliders to slide around on the floor and make the class a little bit more challenging. If you don't have a pair of gliders at your disposal, you could use maybe a paper plate or two, or you could cut yourself two round cardboard discs. If you've got a nice smooth surface to work on like I do, maybe a wooden or a tiled floor, you could opt to just use a pair of socks on your feet. Because of the feedback that I get with a microphone when I use the gliders on the floor, I'm going to be opting for socks today. So I've just got a pair of socks that I'm going to be using on my feet, and I've got an additional pair that I'm going to be using for the hands. You could even use maybe a pair of face cloths that are lying around in the house. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify where you need to, and feel comfortable to take a time out by pausing the stream should you need to take a rest. You ready to play? Let's hit the mat. If you've got a limited amount of space that you usually work in every day, you're going to move your mat. Move your mat far back so that you've got a little bit of room to play in front. Then when we come to the section on the end, we'll be moving the mat up so that you've got a little bit more room to play behind you. Pick your poison, find your glider, either socks on the feet or finding a little round disc that will function. You're going to seat yourself at the front of the mat. If you've got two gliders, you're going to place your toes on the gliders. If you're omitting the gliders today, you're going to place your face cloths or your socked feet on the floor in front of you and just place little spider tip fingers on the mat behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Push your fingertips off the mat. You're going to extend your foot along the glider or use the sock to slide the leg in front, bracing into the heel, and then drawing back to your start position. You're going to play with that movement dynamically. As you drag the slider away and pull it back towards the midline of the body, you're going to focus on trying to find an inner thigh connection and a nice little pull-up from the pelvic floor towards your breast line. Keep your high fingertip position on the mat. Sit up nice and tall, stacking your shoulders over your hips. Look for that inner thigh and that abdominal work. Let's double up, both feet going out together on the sliders, and then pull back to your start position. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. You're going to bring your feet off the gliders or off the floor. Tilt your weight back as if you were coming into a boat line. You're going to extend the legs in front and then tuck them back in. Reach, try and tap the wall in front and then draw the knees back towards your chest. Looking for that nice little contraction through the core as you draw the knees towards your chest. Let's do 4, 3, 2. You're going to end in that long extended line and just flutter kick the legs over one another, pushing your fingertips off the mat. 3, 2, last one. You're going to give me one fall back to give me a scooped or a hollowed frame on the mat. Lower back imprinted, weight off the shoulders, about 2 fingers of air between the chin and the chest, and you're reaching through the fingertips and the toes. You could even give me a hollow hold, hands overhead if you prefer. Hold, then softly connect to the mat. Bend the knees, connect the soles of your feet to the mat. We're coming into a bent knee 100. From your neutral spine position, take a big breath in. On an exhale, tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Scoop to imprint, hovering your arms off the mat. Inhale for a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 5 as you vigorously beat the arms up and down, making sure that you're leveraging from the shoulder and not Mexican waving the hand. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 more, long inhale for 5, long exhale for 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly draw your left knee up to 90. Brace your hand, left hand on the shin, right hand on the knee. We're coming into a straight leg stretch. Extend your right leg and then cycle through, keeping that little scooped frame on the mat as you bend one leg and extend the other. Exhaling to tap the leg away. Inhaling to draw the knee in towards the center line. Let's do 2 more. As you complete the last one, keep your scooped frame on the mat, tucking the knees in towards your chest. On an inhale, open up into T and then come back to your start position. If this is too much for you, tuck the hands behind your head in a surrender-like fashion and just focus on extending the legs in a little V-like shape and then drawing back to your start position. We're going to do 2 more. And then you're going to extend one leg to 90, drop the other one shy of the floor or maybe at 45, and you're going to scissor the legs into each other. If you're feeling the neck, you can tuck your hands behind the head in a surrender-like fashion, resting the weight of your head in the hands while you scissor the legs. If you've got a strong core, you can give me a wider range of motion. Last 2. As you complete the last one, reconnect your head to the mat, drop the arms at your sides, palms down, or tuck the hands, palms down underneath the bum if you need a little bit of support for the lower back. Float your legs up to 90, bracing into the heels. On an exhale, float the legs down to about 75, bend the knees, draw back in, and push back up to your start position, moving in an almost cyclical pattern. If you've got a strong core and no lower back issues, you can give me a wider range of motion, bringing those feet all the way down to almost hovering off the floor before you cycle back up to your start position. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll find our way onto the side of the body, rolling over. Readjust yourself on the mat so that you can bend the bottom leg and place the knee and the ankle in a straight line. Take your glider, put it on the mat, put it on the floor just in front of your mat. Place your foot on the glider. You're going to slide the glider away. Bring it back towards the center line. Bring your foot off the glider and kick up to the ceiling. You're going to repeat that pattern. Thinking of taking the slider away towards yourself and then kick the leg up to the ceiling. On your supportive side, don't collapse your body. I want you to push out through the shoulder. Keep the rib cage up nice and high. Keep your core engaged. Let's do 2 more. Last one. End with the glider extended as far away from you as you can manage. Then trace half a circular pattern in one direction, and then trace it all the way as far back behind you as you can. Keep tracing that half a circular pattern, controlling as you come behind the hip line, not hyperextending the back, but getting a nice little stretch into the hip flexor before you draw back to your start position. Make sure that you're not collapsing your frame, so the whole time that you're playing with that circular trace on the glider, you're keeping your ribs up nice and high off the floor, almost thinking of trying to float your trunk up towards the ceiling. Let's do 2 more. Then we're going to find our way back to our seated frame on the mat. Drawing up into a seated position, finding your original seat on the mat, toes on the glider or on the floor. Place the fingertips on the mat behind you. You're going to extend one leg away, sliding the slider away, and then draw back to your start position. You're going to alternate left and right, looking for that inner thigh connection and that little pull up from your pelvic floor. We're going to double up, moving both legs in unison to push or slide away and then glide back to your start position. Playing with your toe line, giving me a nice brace into the foot as you come into extension. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll bring our feet off the glider. Tip the weight back, tuck the knees in towards your chest, extend the legs as if you wanted to tap the wall, and then pull the knees back in towards the center line. 5, 4, keep your core braced. 3, 2, you're going to end with the legs extended and you're going to give me that soft little flutter kick. 6, 4, 2, you're going to give me a little fall back. Hold that scoop or give me a hollow hold if you prefer, and hold 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, softly float back down to the mat. Bend the knees, connect the soles of the feet. We're coming into a bent knee 100. Inhale as you scoop to peel up, and then begin your 100. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure that you lock your frame in position. Your lower back is scooped and imprinted. Weight off the shoulders. About 2 fingers of air between the chin and the chest, as if you had a little grapefruit tucked underneath your chin. Last set. As you complete the last set, gently peel back down to the mat. Take a mini timeout and then set up your single leg stretch. Drawing the right leg up to table. Extending the left leg. Scoop to peel up. Left hand braces against the shin, right hand against the inside of the knee, and then cycle through. Bending one leg, extending the other, exhaling as you extend and tap the wall. Inhale to transition. Keeping that scooped frame the whole time. If this is too much, hands behind the head as you cycle in with the legs. Last set of 2, and then we'll take it into a double leg stretch. Tuck both knees in towards the chest, open up the arms and legs into a soft V, and tuck back in. If you're feeling the head and the neck, maybe tucking the hands behind your head and just extending and drawing the knees back in. Play where you're comfortable. Let's do 3 more. And then we'll work a little scissoring action, drawing one leg in as close to your chest as you can, holding anywhere along the back chain of the leg that you can connect to. If this is too much, hands behind the head as you scissor in. If you've got a strong core, you can give me a wider range of motion. Let's do last 2, and then we'll reconnect the head to the mat. Find your way down to the mat. Take a little time out here. Tuck the hands underneath your bottom if you need to. Float the legs up to 90. Keep your head and your trunk on the mat. Drop the legs down to about 75. Bend the knees. Cycle back to your start position. Either keeping your range of motion small, or if you're strong and playful, you can give me a wider range of motion, but you should not be compromising your lower back. So if you're feeling the lower back, please work with a smaller range of motion and maybe place the hands underneath your bottom, palms down to support your lower back. Last one, we're going to roll over onto the second side. So I'm going to be facing away from you on this one. Roll over onto your side. Position yourself on the mat so that you can comfortably bend the leg that's closest to the floor, lining up the knee and the ankle. Place your toe or your foot on the glider. Slide the glider away. Bring it back towards the midline of the body. Lift your foot off the glider and kick the leg up towards the ceiling. Sliding in and out. Strong on that arm that's connected to the floor. Make sure that you're not collapsing your frame, keeping the rib cage up nice and high as you play. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll start playing with that little circular arcing motion on the mat. So as you complete your last one, you're going to end with the leg long and extended. Trace towards your other knee, and then draw the leg behind you, feeling a nice little stretch into the hip flexor. You're going to keep tracing that little half circular trace on the floor, keeping your toe connected to the glider, or in my case, my sock connected to the floor so that you can feel the legs sliding back and forth. Let's do 2 more. The last one. As you complete the last one, ease your way back to a seated frame on the mat. Then tuck the legs underneath you. And if you've got a second pair of socks, we're going to use them underneath the hands. You're going to creep your way all the way to the edge of the mat with your knees, with a little bit of room to play in front of you. I'm just putting my socks underneath my hands, so you can place the glider or the sock underneath your hand. You're going to give me a nice 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. You're going to extend one hand away, just your fingertips, the soft fingertips of the first 4 digits connected to the glider, and then bring it back to your start position. Keeping a nice tabletop line on your back, core stays braced the whole time as you're playing. Sliding the hands away and back to your start position. Keep that core braced the whole time. Keep your neckline long and lengthened. I'm going to call that 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, then we're going to work a little reverse bed claw using the hands. And you need to find your position on the glider first. So don't lean all of the weight into the heel of your hands. Almost try to softly grip the glider or the floor or your sock with your fingertips. You're going to simultaneously draw both hands away and then round out through your back, almost clawing the mat as if you were coming into a cat, and extend back out. Readjust your leg line on the mat if you need to. Almost drawing the hands through 4-point kneeling and giving me a strong connection through the core, but you're also going to feel the inside of the arms and the inside of your inner thighs to almost pike your shoulders up towards the ceiling. Let's call that 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Draw your knees back, hands just off your mat on your glider or your sock. You're going to step your feet back into a plank line. Holding your plank line nice and parallel to the floor, you're going to slide out one arm at a time from underneath you, maybe opening up the feet a little bit wider than you usually would if you need a little bit of support on the mat, and you're going to alternate right and left. Let's call that 7, 6, keep your core braced, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. As you complete the last one, you're going to leave the gliders on the floor, just walk your way back onto the mat. We're going to use a forelimb staff to come onto the belly, and then we're going to play with a modified cobra line. Either from 4-point kneeling or from a full plank line, You're going to bend the elbows, hug them in towards your chest, and make your way down to the mat. You're going to set up a cobra line once you get to the mat, but you're going to give me an extended cobra line. So you're going to place your hands on your glider, and you're going to slide the arms away from you, connecting your forehead to the mat in front of you. Legs are soft and relaxed and parallel behind you. Let's find the extended cobra line first. Pretend that you've got a little marble underneath your nose. Roll the marble away from you to the front of the mat. Start peeling up through the rib cage and stop in a baby cobra line with your bottom ribs still connected to the mat, legs long and lengthened behind you, and your gaze is just off the floor in front of you between the two thumbs. You're going to, from here, gently arc or swim the left arm out to the side, stopping when it's in line with your shoulder, and come back to your start position. You're going to play left to right, keeping your cobra line nice and high. So you need to use your back strength to hold the cobra line, extending from your mid-back towards the nape of your neck. Your two hip bones are digging into the mat, and you're tracking your arm movement with your eyes so that your head rotates and follows along. Legs are soft and relaxed behind you. Try to rely not on your glute strength, but more on the back to hold the cobra frame as you play. Let's do 3, 2, stay here, or you're going to double up, opening both arms together. Use your back strength to pause before you come back. So you're really challenging your back extenders to hold that cobra frame as you make the arms nice and light on the mat. Legs soft and relaxed and parallel behind you. I'm going to call that 4, 3, 2, last one. Draw back to your start position on the mat, peeling down to retuck that imaginary marble underneath your nose, and take a little time out here. Then we're going to work a little Superman swim, bringing your hands off the gliders. We're going to float freestyle. Pretend you've got that little marble underneath your nose, roll it away, start peeling up through your cobra line, and at the same time, float the arms and the legs just off the mat in a soft Superman line, tucking your head between the two arms, palms facing in to the center line. You're going to vigorously kick the opposite arm and leg up and down, as if you were swimming freestyle in the water, keeping your head tucked between the two arms. 5, 4, 3, 2, gently float back down to the mat, reconnect your hands to your gliders. We're going to come back into that cobra line, and we're going to play it up. Keep the arms long and lengthened in front of you. Find a little marble underneath your nose. Begin rolling it away from you and start peeling up into your baby cobra line. Stop with your bottom rib connected. Find your back extenders, use them. You're going to bend the left arm out into a little cactus frame and float back to your start position. You're going to alternate side to side, tracking that movement of your arm. So watch your hand as it comes out into the side and opens up into a little cactus frame. I'm going to call that 5. Hold the integrity of your cobra frame. Use your back extenders. 3, 2. You're either going to stay here with your singles or you're going to double up. Now you need to really use those back extended. Keep the integrity of your frame, just keeping your gaze softly off the floor in front of you as you come into an almost prone goddess-like frame with the arms. I'm going to call that 4, 3, 2, last one, Float back to your start position on the mat. Retuck that marble underneath your nose. You're going to swim freestyle. Find that little marble, roll it away. Peel the arms and the legs off the mat. Framing your head as you find a little Superman line, holding or swimming freestyle. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Last one, float softly back down to the mat. As you reconnect, just move your gliders to one side, bend the arms, place the palms alongside your bosom, and push back into a relaxed child. Taking a mini stretch here for a breath or two, extending through the arms, almost pushing off the arms, pushing back into your feet. Dropping your bum bones back as far as you can towards the heels. And then gently come up in a 4-point kneeling frame. If you're working with limited space, just readjust your mat. Wiggle it slightly forward so that you've got room to play behind you. Once more. And you're going to place the gliders on the floor behind your mat, or you're going to use your socked feet. All right. So you're going to creep your way all the way to the end of the mat so that your knees are still padded and supported by the mat. You're going to place your hands gently underneath your shoulders, coming to a 4-point kneeling frame. Keep your core braced the whole time that we play. You're going to place your toe on the glider and you're going to hover your knee just off the floor. Extend the leg out behind you and then draw back to your start position. Just want to give myself a little bit more room to play behind. You're going to alternate you're not going to alternate. You're going to work on one side, sliding the leg away from you, and then drawing the knee back to a hovering position and stopping when both knees are alongside each other. Look for that inner thigh connection and look for that abdominal work. Don't drop your frame. So keep that neckline long. Keep looking down between the two thumbs. When you've done 10 repetitions on side 1, you're going to change sides. 9, 8. Keep pushing the mat strongly away with your hands. Keep your core braced. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, you're going to come to a kneeling frame on your mat. Just make sure that the sliders don't make the floor slippery behind you. You're going to give me a high kneeling stack. Arms placed on the top of the thighs in front of you. Dip off the center line and come back to your start position. Keeping the integrity of the plank line through the top of your thighs and your trunk as you dip off the center line and then float back to your start position. I'm going to call that 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. You're going to come back to your 4-point kneeling frame. Make sure that you've got enough room behind you to extend the legs out into a full plank line. Extending the legs, placing your legs on your glider or your slider, or connecting your soft feet to the mat. You're going to think of using or working your wrist line on this one. You're going to drag the weight forward over your wrists and back, sliding your feet back and forth, trying to hold a relatively parallel line to the mat. You really need to draw up along those inner thighs and the core to slide your weight forward over the wrists and back down. You could give me a fisted line on the mat, wrists looking into the center line if you prefer. Or if you find this too challenging, maybe just hold your plank line for a soft count of 10. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Drop back into your kneeling frame. This time, float the arms out in front. Palms or fingertips just touching in front of the center line. As you dip off the center line, open the arms into T and then softly connect all 10 digits, thumbs to thumbs, index fingers to index fingers, middle finger to middle finger, ring finger to ring finger, pinky to pinky. Keep that nice, strong plank line through the top of your thighs and the lower belly area as you dip off the center line. I'm going to call that 5, 4, 3, 2. The last one, you're going to find your way back to your 4-point kneeling frame and then extend the legs out into a plank line behind you, placing your toe on the glider and sliding back one glider at a time. We're going to work a little bear claw. You're going to tuck the knees in towards a hovering tabletop position and then slide back out. Tuck the knees in, hovering them off the floor and sliding back to your start position. Shooting for anywhere between 5 and 10 repetitions, keeping the core nice and strong as you play. Keep pushing the mat strongly away with your arms. I'm going to call that 4, 3, 2, last one. Draw back into your kneeling frame for a little side stretch rest. This time you're going to draw the 2 elbows in front of you and give me a fisted line, or you can open up the palms looking towards your face, but don't drop your elbow line. Keep your elbows in line with your shoulders. As you dip off the center line, open up the arms into a little cactus frame and then draw back to your start position, trying to sandwich the 2 elbows and the 2 forearms together in front of your eye line. Working with resistance. So use the back of your elbows to push open into cactus and then squeeze the 2 forearms and the 2 elbows together as you come back along the center line. Let's do 3 more. Last one. Find your way back to your 4-point kneeling frame on the mat and step back one slider at a time into your plank line. You're going to think down dog and you're going to pike your bum up to the ceiling, coming right up onto the toes and then slide back to your start position. So a lot of inner thigh, a lot of core. Try not to bend the legs. Try to give me a long line so the knee isn't bending. You're piking your bum up to the ceiling and you're coming up right onto the big toes, almost as if you were working on point in a ballet class. Keep pulling that belly button tightly into center as you pike up to the ceiling. I'm going to call that 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Make your way back to your high kneeling frame. This time, just start with the arms soft and relaxed at the top of your thighs. As you dip off the center line, you're going to float the hands up and then back down, just giving yourself a little release into your wrist line. Keep your side stretch nice and strong. Make sure that you're not dipping at the waist and dropping your bum to your heels. So feel that stretch along the top of your thighs. Feel that nice little stretch into the lower belly area as you release the wrist line dynamically. Let's do 3 more. Then we'll come back to that little pike position, but we'll add a little bit of oblique work. Last one. So you can either stick with the down dog frame that you played with in the previous round, or you can give me a slight rotational movement through the wrists. Not through the wrists, through the hips and the legs. Find your 4-point kneeling frame. This time, step the 2 knees together. and clip the feet together behind you, placing them on one slider disc if you're working with the slider. You're going to softly extend the legs behind you in unison into a narrow plank. You're going to pike the bum up to the ceiling. At the same time, you're going to slightly twist the hips to the left, piking up at a slight angle, and then come back to your start position. You're going to keep drawing or piking up slightly off center, pulling your one slider disc towards you and away, or just keeping both toes connected with your socks, or maybe to the face cloth that you might be using as your modified glider. Working a little French twist. Piking up nice and high. Keeping your belly button firmly pulled in to center. Let's do one more set. Last one. Ease your way back to your kneeling frame. Float the arms out in front. And as you play with that side stretch, just give me a little circular release. 5 times in one direction. Think soft Bollywood hands. And then change up halfway and trace your circular release in the opposite direction. Keeping that plank line nice and strong through the trunk. All right. Find your way back down to 4-point kneeling. You're going to need 2 sliders for this one. Open up your knees so that they're hip-width distance apart. Place a slider underneath each foot. You're going to extend out into your plank line. And you're going to mount and climb, draw one knee in to a hovering tabletop position, alternating left and right side of the body. Keeping your core nice and strong. Don't collapse through your shoulders. Keep pushing the mat strongly away. I'm going to call that 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Find your way back to your high kneeling frame. And this time, tuck the toes behind you if you can. As you dip off the center line, pause and come back. Dip off the center line, hold, come back to your start position. So trying to get just a little bit more stretch into the top of your thighs, working at a slower rate, looking for that tug in the lower belly area. Just keep your arms soft. Float up from the shoulders and back down, keeping your wrist line long, lengthen and relax, and almost reaching with your fingertips for the wall at the opposite end of the room. Last one. Alrighty, find your way back to your 4-point kneeling frame, a slider underneath each foot. You're going to extend out into your plank line. Feet sandwiched together along the midline of the body. You're going to trace half a circular pattern with one leg at a time, almost tick-tocking like a little metronome. Strong through the shoulders, strong through the core. I'm going to call that 5, 4, 3, 2, last set. Drop down to your kneeling frame. Last set of slow side stretches. Tuck your toes under. Hands on the top of the thighs. Dip, top of the thighs. Dip off the center line, pausing. Stretching the tops of your thighs, stretching the lower belly area, reaching with your fingertips. Come back to your start position. Playing with your breath pattern. Nice exhale as you come back. Inhale as you draw back. Keep those toes tucked under behind you. Last one. As you complete your last one, you can make your way fully onto the mat, off the gliders. You're going to gently step your right foot forward. Make sure that you've got knee over ankle. And you're just gently going to lean forward, shooting for a little stretch in the hip flexors and the top of that back thigh. Maybe bracing both of your hands or just the fingertips on the top of your thigh as you gently lean forward. Don't lean aggressively into the top of that leg. So I want you to float your crown up to the ceiling. Keep drawing up along the inner thighs and pull up strongly from the pelvic floor towards your sternum. Then frame the lead leg on either side. Start drawing your weight back, stopping when the hip stacks over the knee on the back leg. Extend the front leg, point the toes up to the ceiling, almost pushing off your spider tip fingers and rounding out softly through the spine as you shoot for a little hollow frame through the belly. Come back to your original start position, floating your crown up to the ceiling, maybe just placing one hand on the top of your thigh, reaching back with the other hand, seeing if you can connect to the thigh, not the thigh, your bridge, and then softening through the thigh. So relax the quad, the glute, and the hamstring, and try to draw the leg in closer. If your inner thigh and your lower ab connection is strong, you can bring both hands behind you and hug that heel right into your bum, but make sure you're not tensing the thigh of the back leg. Soften the quad, soften the glute, soften the hamstring. Relax back to your start frame and focus on your pelvis. So maybe place both hands on your two hip bones. Start with a relaxed neutral spine position and then scoop or tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position so that you can feel an almost little lengthening happening in the lower back. Keep that tilt the whole time as you float both hands overhead. Reaching for the sky, keep that tilt. Then slowly start arcing or swimming the left arm to the side. Reaching with your fingertips and bringing the right arm slightly overhead to frame your ear on the right. Keep reaching with your fingertips on both hands and keep that tilt of the pelvis. Float back to your start position, hands on your hips, and change sides. Step forward with the left leg. Place your left hand or both hands on the top of your left thigh and gently lean forward. But don't lean aggressively into that leg. Think of floating your crown up to the ceiling. Feel that nice little stretch on the inside of your right hip bone and into the lower belly area. And then frame the lead leg on either side. Slide your weight back, stopping when the back hip stacks over the knee. Extend your front leg, peeling the toes up off the mat, looking up to the ceiling, almost hollowing out your belly. Push off your fingertips, stretch into the lower back and the shoulders. Peel back to your start position on the mat. Maybe just placing one hand to softly connect to your lead thigh. See if you can bring the back foot up off the mat. Reach for the bridge of your foot and then start softening the thigh of the back leg and start drawing the heel in towards your bum. If you feel comfortable here, reach back with both hands, drawing that leg even closer towards the center line. Don't lean aggressively forward. Keep lengthening, almost as if you were a puppet on a string, and the puppeteer was pulling your crown up to the ceiling. Draw up along the inner thighs, draw up from the pelvic floor. Keep that back leg soft so that you can tuck the heel into your bum. Then find your way back to your starting frame and place both hands on your hip bones. Begin in neutral spine, then tilt or scoop to the 12 o'clock position. Hold that scoop steady as you frame both hands overhead, reaching for the sky. Keep the tilt of your pelvis and start floating the right arm down as if you were wanting to touch the floor. Then arc slightly overhead with the left arm and keep reaching through both sets of fingertips, keeping that tilt through the pelvis the whole time. Hold for 4 more seconds. Float back to your start position on the mat, giving me a high kneel. Little tilt of the pubic bone. Keep that tilt even as you float your hands overhead, coming down slowly in active prayer, pushing slowly with enough force into both palms so that you can feel the arms, chest, upper back, and shoulders. Namaste to you all. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. Hope you enjoyed today's glider class. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure that you shoot me your comments and your feedback. And make sure that you are subscribed with your notifications on. I shall see you all for yoga on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.